Hey everyone, it's time for part 2 of Is MGS CQC Realistic, the post-Phantom Pain edition. There's lots to see in this game, lots to talk about, so let's not screw around, let's get right to it. First, I'd like to say a big I told you so about Snake's knife. I tried to explain how and why it was not a great place to keep it on his belt previously, and who would show up to demonstrate why but that little bugger, Liquid Snake. I didn't even have to demonstrate with a real-life example, the game did it for me. Not just once, but 2 times in the game, a stringy little 12-year-old strips an edged weapon off of a trained adult and ends up posing quite a bit of a danger. Now, just imagine what somebody bigger, stronger, and more motivated would do with that if they saw that opportunity or had it on you in a fight. You won't be looking stupid, you'll be looking dead. A lot of people tried to disagree with me, came up with a couple video gamey reasons for why having the knife on the back in that Splinter Cell way was okay, but I'd say this pretty much settles the issue. If you want to have a bit of a laugh, watch the way Ocelot just dunks Eli right here. First he gets the arm in both hands, wrist tie, and a grip at the elbow, and then just smokes him with the Osotogari. Next, we've got the added new Cqc Counters, one against a muzzle strike and one against a knife thrust. Now, the knife counter is really nice to look at. Snake intercepts the incoming knife arm at the wrist, does some fancy little arm twist action which makes the knife magically pop out of the enemy's hand, slaps away the enemy's rifle, and then steps in to dunk him with the throw. Now, before you ask, no, it's not possible to just flip somebody's knife out of their hand like that. Now, you imagine some 200-pound soldier coming at you with full speed with a combat knife. Do you really think you're going to be able to snatch his hand out of the air, give it a delicate little sweep to the outside, and he's going to lose his grip, and the knife is just going to go twisting out of his meaty hand like magic? Of course not. There's much better ways to deal with an edge weapon than trying to go for little wrist twisty magic tricks. But, I mean, it looks cool, it flows nice, so I won't say that much more about it. The muzzle strike counter is interesting because it looks like 2 punches when it's actually first a spear hand eye poke and then a knockout punch. It wasn't until I was taking footage for this video, actually, using that Acceleramin drug, that I noticed it was an eye jab. Snake steps a little bit to the left, uses his right forearm to parry the muzzle strike, and then sends the spear hand eye jab. He slaps the enemy's rifle down and then delivers the KO shot right after. Now, jamming your stiff fingers into somebody's eyes is okay when you've got a metal hand, but when you've got a regular old hand, it's probably going to cause you a lot of damage too when you spike your digits into cheekbone or forehead or helmet, and now you're trying to stay in the fight with a couple busted digits. For me personally, I'm not too excited about the thought of trying to win a fight to the death while I've got basketball players' fingers sticking all out in different directions. Of course, it's not real, it's a video game, so it doesn't matter, but we're just using the game kind of to bring up talking points. One of my favorite adjustments in MGS5 is the knockout punch that they've put in MGO. Just like I asked for in my CQC Strikes video, which you may or may not have watched, they condensed that unnecessarily long sequence of moves into one beautiful right hand that just puts your guy to sleep right away. A quick slap to the rifle and then bang. Like it's awesome to see. I enjoy it every time. Always looks good. There's no fast lethal CQC option in MGS5, but this is as close as it gets. Okay, last thing I want to talk about. And during the fights with the parasites, they added a huge amount of counter CQC moves to deal with their Machete Attacks. They look sweet. I have a sort of a problem with how easy it looks to take away a machete from a skull soldier. The animations make it look like you can just grab the machete right out of their hand and stab them with it no matter what they're doing. So I think it makes the skulls look kind of weak or ineffective. Can you imagine having somebody like a super soldier of some kind full of like these parasites that change their bodies? Imagine having somebody like that swing a machete at you so weakly that you can literally just reach out and pluck it out of his hand. That's sort of what it looks like. Since skulls are supposed to be these terrifying super soldiers, I think it doesn't quite work as they intended. It would be better if they made it look a little more difficult, like rather than you were just completely outclassing the skulls with your CQC. The counterattacks that they do in the game are still pretty satisfying and surprisingly brutal, so the payoff is good. but it actually looks more like more effort to fight a parasite puppet than a skull soldier, because when you fight the puppets, you sometimes get into like these little hockey fights with them where you're grabbing and pushing and just throwing big hands and stuff. The skulls, you kind of just humiliate them at will with their own weapons, so it's not very scary. One thing that I'm glad that they did for MGS5 is add some kind of Filipino martial arts flavor into the techniques, specifically the counters and stuff. I'm glad to see that they've decided to expand the system a little bit beyond, say, like the traditional kind of Japanese martial arts that they've been using up until now. So that was kind of a nice touch, nice little elbow break here. Watch this in slow motion. Nice. Anyway, I'm not really sure where to go from here. That's about it for this part. And I still got a lot of questions and comments that would probably be better answered in videos, so I can start doing that. And a lot of people have asked me to take more time examining CQC and cutscenes and in other past MGS games, so I can start doing that as well. Whatever I decide, I'm definitely not ready to quit making these videos, as I have a lot of fun doing them, kind of using video games as sort of a launch pad for discussing tactical/technical concepts, and I get a lot of appreciation for doing it. So anyway, thanks for watching up until now, and I'll see y'all on the next video.